Okay. Okay, good morning. Dear distinguished guests, 卢主席, 肖峰总, and dear friends, it's my great pleasure to be here. So, one quote I always feel enlightening came from the business thinker Peter Drucker. He once said that the most important work of the executive is to identify the future that has already happened. Indeed, we live in a breakthrough period of the information age. To properly understand and participate in this tremendous growth is a sin to all of us. So this morning, I have listened carefully to the previous talks. There's a lot of mission, strategy, and action, and I won't be able to add too much on that. But I think because given such tremendous changes, every year, the annual Hong Kong Web3 Festival is actually a milestone for reflection and for expectation. So in that regard, I would like to provide some thoughts. So the topic today I'm going to share with you is the three waves of information technology and the three waves of global FinTech. Under that title, I would like to share two thoughts. The first is that I think probably it's time for us to rethink what exactly is Web3 right now. And to understand that, we need to go back to the first principles of information technology. What do I mean here? Well, if you think about it, actually, information has three essential pillars. Thinking is actually an information technology. Digitized information can be processed to do increasingly intelligent jobs, from simple calculating to AI. And connecting is also an information technology. Internet has tremendously reduced the cost of communicating, networking, and scaling. Its impact is so powerful, and nowadays we are willing to use the concept of Web3 to describe its future potential improvement. And crucially, no matter for thinking or for communicating, information should be easily verified and trustworthy. And so we need thinking technology, connecting technology, and trusting technology. And these three technologies actually work in combination to define our age. So for the AI thinkers, for the AI believers, they can now expect the smarter web, and as Wen-Zhong just mentioned, a more agent-friendly trust system. And the smart contracts, which were actually trust automated contracts, can now fulfill its promise of its names. And without trust, then AI can be polluted, and finance can never properly do its KYC. So I guess my first takeaway is that no matter you call this Web3 or not, actually a new vision of the information age has emerged. This new vision contains a large chunk of the original spirit of Web3, while the Web3 concept remains a choice, but it's also this new vision of the information age is still distinctively different. For example, think about governance. Originally, we thought that we want a world that can completely removal of the central authorities. Now we have a hybrid governance. And for settlement, now originally we thought about we can totally bypass traditional banks. Now we have banks still becomes a very important part of the infrastructure, and they have to update their underlying plumbings. And also for access and compliance, we thought about the permissionless entry without institutional backing. Now we have a public-private coexistence, and with joint hybrid on-chain systems. So I believe this is the a new vision of the information age. But what is most fascinating is that the three technologies work together to define the future, and there's a lot of possibilities. Now, but why does this matter? Because the principles, the first principles actually dictate the future. Now we've been thinking about the Web3, talk about internet, now talk about AI. And now, but it's actually those principles that will guide the future. Now, let me move on to my second thought. It is precisely through the three waves of information technology. Actually, we have experienced, or we are experiencing, three waves of FinTech. It now becomes clear, but when we talk about internet finance, when we talk about Web3, now we talk about AI, we didn't think this way. So I think it's worthwhile to look back into the past. So the first wave of FinTech can be described as internet-powered financial inclusion. And the result is tremendous. Thinking about payment, now the world has more than 3 billion mobile payment accounts. Credit lending can be decided within a second. Amount can be democratized to $1, and data has become the new collateral, as Nobel Prize winner Ben Holmstrom first described it. And in this process, so if we think about the players, the platforms, they provide new gateways. But actually, the traditional financial institutions, they also embrace internet effectively. So we have a platform institution hybrid framework. And in this process, in this stage, actually, China achieved world-leading capacities in this wave. And it's not just FinTech. For anybody who have lived in China, they know by heart that it's a lifestyle. So China has been leading the mobile lifestyle thanks to this wave of the information technology. Now, the second wave of FinTech can be described as blockchain-powered trust digitization. And it has several of its own periods, each period with its validation and falsification. And it is very important for us to learn what are the right products and what are the right required infrastructure. So we have learned that trust technology can create valuable assets. Trust technology can actually be programmed as platforms. Trust technology can be used to replace major financial functions. And finally, this wave of the trust technology can be integrated and regulated, thus becomes a fundamental part of the new financial system. So, and while this stage is actually just opening up and speeding up, then the arrival of the AI has made this necessary because of the agent world has made a humanless trust system becomes essential. And so if we think about this, which kind of financial system will come up with the third wave of the FinTech? Now, we are going to have a financial system that becomes much more continuous and real-time. It becomes from opaque, becomes more transparent, but within its bounds. You have to prove what you must, and you can hide what you should. And it becomes from intermediary heavy to infrastructure heavy. So now, and if we think about the value, it's of this stage it can create, we see a lot. Now in China, a while ago, an important person asked me, why we already have the financial market? Why do we need RWA? If you think about it, actually for the first time, the financial assets can be, the compliance can be programmable, and the collaterals can be mobilized. And right now, 90% of the collaterals could not do that. And also the market access can be much more democratized, and settlement can be can much more reduce the risk, and there's more asset classes. If we think about where is this happening the fastest, you're going to think that in the past year or so, we're going to see the Asian Pacific and Africa and Latin America, they grow the fastest. Why are they the case? Because these are the places really that lack the financial infrastructure or the currencies. The currencies they are not really trustworthy. Now, so you can see that this provides much more potential for the financial inclusion for the real economy. And finally, it is important because a large part of that is being used as a choice to hedge against unreliable currencies. Think about tokenized gold or other on-chain assets. And I think that choice is important to force the authorities to behave themselves, to have a more resilient financial system. And with the help of the AI, now trust can be really programmed, and intelligence can be verifiable, and value can be composable. If we think about financial inclusion nowadays, then the coverage right now it's not just about humans, but actually it covers agents. And talk about the transaction cost, it can be reduced 99%. Settlement speed can be reduced to seconds, and capital can be much more efficient, and the decision makers could be humans, practicals, and AI agents. So as a trained economist, let me summarize my thoughts with another quote. So Ronald Coase wrote his famous essay on the meaning of organization and the boundary of organization. And later, Douglas North actually concluded through his study that about 45% of the GDP actually is related to the information costs. And now with the perspective, we can think about the three waves of information technology breakthroughs: the connection, the thinking, and the trust technology together has great potential. So, and in the past, as I just mentioned, China has demonstrated the world-class advancement in digital finance. And I believe that in the future, both China and the Hong Kong region possess vast potential for this development. And I see a lot of the passion and progress. I'm very excited. Actually, in China, in Shanghai, I'm doing something similar to promote this. And I look forward to have more exchange with you guys. And after all, this is the future that is happening right now. Thank you.